ever occurred. The Israelites are rushing, leaving Egypt. The Egyptians are awakened and run behind them to try to either bring them back or kill them. And in front of them is the Yam Suf, the Sea of Reeds, and they're stuck. And we know, the Torah tells us, a miracle will occur. Moses, as the Zohar reveals to us, with the use of the 72 names of God, is able to create a physical miracle, one of the greatest physical miracles to ever occur. But more important than that, of course, as the Kabbalists teach, is the fact that at that moment, Moses not only opened up for those people then thousands of years ago an opening for miracles, he also opened up for all of us forever the ability to connect, especially on this Shabbat, to the power to create miracles. But there's a prerequisite without which we can't possibly connect, receive, and be able to manifest this gift in our lives. Before the miracle occurs, before Moses uses the tools of the 72 names to create this great miracle, there's a verse in the Torah that says, Moses speaks to all the Israelites and he says, Hityatzvu ure'u et Yeshuat Hashem. Stand and see the great assistance, the great miracle that the Creator will effect for you. Asher ya'aseh lachem hayom, which He will do for you today. Hayom. That last word, Hayom, is seemingly superfluous. Moses could have just as well told the Israelites, you will see the great miracle that the Creator will do. What is the need? We know there are no extra words, there are no unnecessary words in the Torah. Why is that last word, Hayom, the miracle that the Creator will create for you today? Why is that word written? And the Kabbalists teach that that word, Hayom, teaches us the secret without which we can never come to receive the great light of the Shabbat. We can never come to be able to manifest the great light of miracles that is available for us on the Shabbat. So what is the secret of Hayom, of that word today? The Kabbalists refer to an earlier time when Jacob was going to bless the 12 tribes, his 12 children. It says before Jacob begins to bless his children, and we know that those blessings, as Zohar explains, were not just simply a father to son blessings, but they were an opening up of great blessings, of great abundance for not only those 12 children, but for all people who follow. But before Jacob, Yaakov, begins those blessings, it says, Vayivachem bayom ahu le'emor. Jacob blessed them on that day. Again, the word Yom. Bayom ahu, on that day, saying. And the Kabbalists explained there as well, that before the 12 tribes, the 12 children of Jacob were able to receive the great blessings that he was ready to pour on them, they had to come to understand the secret of Hayom, the day. What is the secret of the day? So the Kabbalists explain that the light of the Creator, every morning when we wake up, is ready to bestow, to shower upon us an endless amount of light and blessings. Every need that we will have in that day, every lack that we will have in that day, the light to fill that need, that lack, is ready and prepared to flow down simply and easily in that day. But if a person, as most of us, if not all of us do almost every single day, if a person injects tomorrow, meaning he begins worrying about tomorrow or the next day or the next week or the next month or the next year, if he awakens that doubt, that fear, he then robs today, does not enable the light that is meant to come to him today to manifest. The secret of Hayom, the secret of today, what Moshe was telling the Israelites, forget about ever being able to access miracles in your life unless you first come to the consciousness of today. Being able to live every single day in its entirety, which means not having any worry or doubt about tomorrow, not having any regret even of yesterday. Because if you do that, if you are not living in today, but rather bringing worry or doubt in from tomorrow or next week or next month, you do not allow the true and complete blessings that are meant to come to you today to manifest. That's the spiritual rule. And we want to understand the logic of it. Why and how does it work? Why does it work in that way? And the Kabbalists explain, again, that every day that we wake up, the totality of the blessings of the light of the Creator are ready to come down to us. But every day is an energy. Every day is a complete vessel, as the Kabbalists call it. When you start worrying about tomorrow or next week or next month, you are taking that lack, that darkness of the future, and you bring it into today. And that lack and that darkness that you are bringing from the future into today stops you, does not enable you to receive the complete blessings that you are meant to receive that day. And let's think about our days. Is there a day that goes by within which we don't worry about the next day, about the next week, about the next month? But now we have to understand that every time we do that, we do not allow the completeness, the totality of the blessings that the light of the Creator has ready to bestow on us on that day, for that day. And that's why Moses, before even being able to open up the gates of miracles for the Israelites, then says to them, first, before there's ever any ability for me to be able to create miracles for you, and teaching us, before there is any ability for us to bring miracles into our lives, first come to the level of Hayom. Come to the level of today, whereby we do not allow, and it's not going to be easy, it's not easy, but if we understand why, and if we understand what happens if we do, we have a greater strength to stop that doubt, that fear that comes in from tomorrow into today. Because now we understand that every time we do that, we stop the true and complete blessings that are meant to come to us today to enter. And therefore, again, Moses, before being able to create the miracle of the splitting of the sea, says to the Israelites, "Hityatzvu ure'u." First come to the level of Hayom, of the level, the secret of today, where you can live every day and not allow the doubt and the worry of tomorrow and the next week and the next month to enter. If you're able to do that, Moses tells the Israelites, then we can go ahead and continue and use the tools of the 72 names of God to create the great miracle of the splitting of the sea. But if not, if you are not ready to live today only, to live in the secret of today, but rather you continue to bring in the doubts and the fears of tomorrow, of next week, of next month, you will never have a complete day. You will never have the totality of the light and blessings that are meant to come into today to enter it. And that is why also before Jacob was giving the blessings to the 12 tribes, he says to them, every blessing that I give you will be worthless, or at least will never be able to completely manifest in your lives unless you come to the level of Bayomahu, on that day, living that day. The great Kabbalist, Rabbi Melech of the Zhensk, in this week's portion, there is a discussion of what's called the manna. Many of us know when the Israelites leave Egypt after the splitting of the sea, they start traveling in the desert. And in the desert, of course, there are no trees, there's no vegetation, there's no water. So the Israelites worry about their food. And it says that the Creator tells Moshe to tell the Israelites, there will be manna from heaven. There will be food that will come to sustain you, don't worry. How did it work? How did the manna work? The Torah tells us that every morning the manna came down, and every individual was able to take the amount of food that he and his family needed for that day. And then the next day, the same thing. The manna came down, and every person was able to take whatever amount of food he needed to sustain and feed his family for that day. And the obvious question is, most of us, when you go to the grocery store and you're buying food for your family for the week, you buy for a week, 4 days maybe. Nobody ever goes to the grocery store, buys food for 1 day and comes back, and goes to the grocery store on Monday and comes back, and so on and so forth. It seems like a waste of time. So why did the Creator do it in this way? Why was food only given for every single day? The Kabbalists teach, it says, Lo nitna Torah, the wisdom and the light of the Torah, the wisdom and light of complete connection to the light of the Creator is only given le'ochlei haman, to those who eat the manna. Most of us don't eat the manna. It happened thousands of years ago. Most of us don't have that experience of every day having the food rest on our lawns. So how do we understand that the Kabbalists teach that you cannot come to wisdom, you cannot come to a connection to the light of the Creator unless you are partaking of the man? And the answer is what we said earlier. The reason why the Creator gave them the man every day was not just for them, it was an understanding. When we speak about those who eat the man, it's not them thousands of years ago, it's us today. How do we live our lives? You cannot completely connect to the light of the Creator unless you are living today, completely. When you bring in tomorrow, the worry and the doubt and the fear of tomorrow, you do not allow the complete flow of the blessings of the light of the Creator into today. And therefore the Kabbalists teach you cannot have wisdom, you can't have a connection to the light of the Creator, ela le'ochlei aman, only to the people who are on the level, to those of us who come to the level of truly being able to eat and live and focus on Hayom today. Rabbi Elimelech Adazhensk writes, Ma she'atem omrim, that we say, shetzrichim leparnasa, that we say we need sustenance, we need assistance in business, we need assistance in health, we need assistance in relationships, all the lack that you have. The Creator says, Ani tamid, I always, bechol et, in every moment, muchan umezuman lefarnes, I am ready to give all your needs. V'latet lechol ish midei ish biyomo parnasato me'ashamayim. I am willing to give you everything you need every single day. But כשאדם הוא מחוסר הביטחון, when a person lacks that certainty and starts worrying and bringing in the doubts and the worries of tomorrow, ולקטו דבר יום ביומו צריך להתחדש אליו הלקיטה מחדש. Then he closes the flow of the light of the Creator into his day, into his life, and then he has to reignite that connection. And then he has to work harder for his money, for his sustenance, for his relationship, for his health. If a person had certainty, it would come without difficult work, without pain. It would flow down like the rain that flows down simply and straight onto this earth. This is the first understanding, a prerequisite, as we said, to be able to partake of the light of this Shabbat. Every single day that we wake up in the morning, the needs that we have, the lack that we will have in that day, the light and blessings from the Creator to fill that lack is ready. But every doubt that we bring in and fear that we bring in of tomorrow, of next week, of next month, stops that flow, robs today of the light and blessings that are meant to come. And therefore, as the Rav would often say, it's not that we shouldn't, it's the wrong thing spiritually to worry or to have doubt. We just can't afford it. Because when we allow the doubt and the fear of tomorrow to come in, and I'm not saying it's easy, but when we allow that to come in, we stop the flow of the light today. And as the Noam Elimelech says, we can reignite it, but it takes more effort then. That's why it's difficult sometimes to accomplish things. That's why it's difficult to manifest things. Because we've broken that flow with our doubt and our lack from tomorrow and the next day and the next week. So the first, again, understanding, the first gift that we want to come to on this Shabbat is to have the strength. First, the understanding, and second, the strength to be able to live in the secret of Hayom today, Because when we are able to live in the secret of today, then we are able to completely receive the light and blessings for all the need and the lack that we have today. And therefore there's a verse, and we sing this every Shabbat, Baruch Hashem Yom Yom. The light and complete blessings of the Creator comes in daily, but only if you are living completely in that day. The second thing I want to share, the secret without which we cannot draw the light of miracles and truly the blessings we are meant to have in our lives. And we can't connect to the Shabbat. Moses says, Hityatzvu ure'u et Yeshuat Hashem asher ya'aseh lachem hayom. Stand and you will see the tremendous miracles that the Creator will do for you Hayom, today. Many secrets within this verse, but the one that we want to focus on is the last word in that verse, Hayom, today. It didn't really make a difference to the Israelites whether that happens today or an hour later. They needed to be saved. Moses says you're going to be saved, but he says you're going to be saved Hayom, today. What is the secret of that word, Hayom, today? So to explain this, the Kabbalists bring a teaching from Rabbi Moshe Leib of Sasov, and he says, on a different verse, many of us know the story, that Jacob, before he left this world, he decided to shower the 12 tribes, the 12 conduits of light to this world with blessings. They're called the blessings that Jacob gave before he left this world. But before he begins the blessing, he too has a verse that we have to understand. It says, Vayivarchem bayomahu. He blessed them on that day. Again, the word day, that day, Hayom, Hayomahu, that day. Again, we don't know what day of the week it was. Historically, there's no significance to the day of the year it was. Why does the verse tell us that he blessed them by Yom Hahu, on that day? So Rabbi Moshe Leib Sasov explains, Sheberech otam sheizku lavo lemidat habitachon. He blessed them that they should come to the level of certainty. Shelo yid'agu da'agat machar, that they will have no fear or doubt about the next day. Jacob is blessing them. You should be able to come to the certainty to be able to live in this day, today. Rak Baruch Hashem Yom Yom, but rather to have the certainty within the day and not to allow our doubts or our fears to take us into the next day. So Jacob, before he blesses his children, before he opens up to this world the gates of blessings, he teaches a very important point, very important lesson. He says, without coming to the level of consciousness of today, which means a person lives within this day and does not allow a doubt or a worry about tomorrow, or even really a worry or a regret of what happened yesterday to come in, but rather he remains focused on today, only then can I give you the blessings, Jacob says. So the blessing that Jacob gave to his children was Hayom. I'm giving you the blessing and the power and the ability to come to live within this day. And he continues. Moses said again, the verse, Hityatzvu ure'u, stand and you will see the miracles et Yeshuat Hashem asher ya'aseh lachem hayom, that he will do for you today. And the Kabbalists explain, Di'ikar bazman kazeh, in this time when you need a miracle, you can't worry about the next day. You can't bring in the worry which will be tomorrow. Then, if you are able to live in the day and not awaken worry of tomorrow or regret of yesterday, then Hashem Elokechem imachem, then you are connected to the light of the Creator. V'yimatkut kol hadinim me'alechem, and then all the judgments will be removed from you. Let's understand the way this works spiritually, right? So the Kabbalists are teaching us that before Moses would have been incapable of using even the power of the 72 names to create the miracle, had he not elevated the Israelites at that time to come to the consciousness of today, to have no doubt or worry about what's going to happen tomorrow or regret of what happened yesterday. Living in the secret of today is a prerequisite to be able to connect to the light of the Creator, is a prerequisite to awaken miracles in our lives. Why? So that's the rule. But now let's understand spiritually the logic of it. We sing the song every Shabbat. It's based on the verse, Baruch Hashem Yom Yom. The light of the Creator is injected in the day. If a person awakens a worry, forget about a worry about today. If a person awakens about, certainly if that will connect him to darkness or disconnection with the light of the Creator. But if a person goes to the next day, or the next month, or the next year, and starts worrying or having doubts about what's going to happen then, he takes that darkness from tomorrow, or from next week, or from next month, and he brings it in, he injects it into today, and he does not allow the light of the Creator now to flow, because he's brought darkness into this day. He's brought a blockage into this day. The doubt of tomorrow, or next week, or next month, or next year blocks the light of the Creator from being able to come into this day. And now we understand the logic of it. It's important to understand the rule and also to understand the logic. If a person is not living in the day, if he is bringing doubt and worry from tomorrow or from next week or from next month, he robs today of its potential blessings. He robs today of its potential blessings. And therefore Moses, where he wanted to create this tremendous miracle, and he had the tools, he had the 72 names, he's able to do the miracle. Had the Israelites not been elevated to the level of Hayom, today, had they started worrying about what's going to be tomorrow or the next week or the next month, they would have brought in that darkness, that lack into today, and they would have stopped, made unable, Moses incapable of creating the miracles of the splitting of the sea in that day. Even if you have the most powerful tools, even if you have the most powerful potential connection, if you are not able to live in the realm of the secret of Hayom today, and you bring in the doubt and the worry from tomorrow or next week or next month or next year, you rob today of its blessings. You make it impossible for the complete and total blessings and light of the Creator that are meant to come into this day to come. And that's why Jacob, before giving his children blessings, said, I'm giving you first the consciousness of Hayom Hazeh, Hayom Ahu, that day. And we say before the splitting of the sea, Moses says the only way you can be ready to receive the light and the blessings of the splitting of the sea, awaken that great miracle, and forever be able to connect to miracles, only if you come to the consciousness of Hayom. Stand and you will see. Bring yourself to the level where you are in Hayom, living in today. Have no worry, no doubt, no fear about tomorrow and the next day and next week and next month. Then the true light and potential, using the tools, can be revealed today. If you don't, if you bring in the doubt and the worry and the fears from tomorrow and next week and next month and next year, you will make it impossible for the complete blessings of this day to be revealed. Let's think about us. Let's think about our lives. Let's think about our days. How many of our days are filled with worries and doubts and fears about tomorrow, about next year, about next month? Every time we awaken a doubt or a fear about tomorrow, about next month, about next year, we bring that darkness into today. We make today incapable. We'll get some blessings, hopefully, if we make our connections, but the totality of blessings that are meant to come to us on this day can't come. When you begin to understand the secret of Hayom, of today, you begin to see that word appears throughout this week's portion. Another miracle that is spoken about in this week's portion is the manna, the man. The Israelites are in the desert, and they have no source of food. There's no plants, there's no trees, there's nothing they can eat. There's a miracle that occurs every single day. Food comes down from the heavens, and they eat it every day. How much food comes down from the heavens? Just enough for one day. Why? You know, when you go to the supermarket, right, you buy food for 4 days, for a week, for 2 weeks. It makes a lot more logical sense to prepare. So, doesn't it make sense that the Israelites receive all the manna they need for that week on a Sunday, and then they eat throughout the week? Why does the manna have to come in every day? They got to go out and gather it and bring it home. Every day, Sunday, go out and get the manna. Monday, go out and get the manna. Tuesday, go out and get the manna. Why not give them it all on Sunday? Why not give it all twice a week? Easier for the Creator, easier for the Israelites. The Kabbalists teach, it says that the Torah, the light of the Creator, can only be given to those who eat the manna. question, of course, is we don't eat the man. We don't have, most of us that we know of don't have the man coming down from the heavens every day. How can we make a connection to the light of the Creator? So what the Kabbalists teach is that the manna does not represent necessarily physical food. It represents this level of consciousness, where my worry, the only thing I'm concerned about, not really concerned, my only focus is today. What can I do to maximize the blessings and light that I can connect to, that I can receive today? I have not even a beginning of a thought or a worry or a doubt about tomorrow. Only a person of that level, of that consciousness, can be completely connected to the light of the Creator. And therefore it says that the Torah was only given to l'ochlei haman, to those who eat the man. What does it mean? It means a person who has come to the consciousness, living the secret of Hayom, of today. Rabbi Elimelech of Dezhensk, and the Noam Elimelech, speaks about the manna, and he speaks about all the light and blessings, whether it's blessings of sustenance, in business, in relationships, in healing. He says, Ma she'atem omrim, he says, people, you, us, you say you have lack, you need sustenance, you need business help, you need healing help, you need relationship help. Ani tamid, the Creator says, I always, bechol et, in every moment, mukhan umezuman lefarnes ulatet lekol ish midei ish biyomo parnasato me'ashamayim. Every day, when we wake up in the morning, the Creator is ready with all the blessings and all the fulfillment in all areas of our life that we need. But when a person has doubts, does not live in the secret of today, then he's broken the flow of the light of the Creator to him, and now there has to be a reignition of that flow of light, and therefore it becomes more difficult. Work becomes more difficult. Relationships, you might get it at the end because you've reignited the connection, but it's not the simple, clean, clear flow of the light of the Creator. If a person had complete certainty, he would have all the sustenance, all the healing, all the assistance, all the blessings that he would need without any difficulty. Just like the rain that flows without any worry, without any difficulty. That is the way we wake up in the morning. Every single morning, all the light and the blessings that we need for that day, in their totality. If we need miracles in that day, if we need assistance in work in that day, if we need assistance in relationships in that day, if we need assistance in our spiritual work, it's ready to flow down. But 5 minutes after you wake up, or an hour after you wake up, you start worrying about tomorrow, you start worrying about next week, or next month, or next year, you stop that flow. Now it's possible to reignite that connection, but then you have to work a little bit harder to get it. Ultimately, if a person has pure, complete certainty in the light of the Creator today, they all come to him. As the rain flows down, normally Rabbi Elimelech says, easily, without difficulty, without hard work. And that is the first gift that Moses gives us on the Shabbat, but it's also a place we have to go to on the Shabbat. Because as it's made clear, the miracles of the splitting of the sea cannot occur in its totality, cannot be revealed in its totality. All miracles that we need, all blessings that we need, all light that we need cannot be revealed in their totality unless we are striving, working, begging, desiring to come to the level of living in the secret of Hayom today. That is the prerequisite. So that's the first thing we want to ask for, we want to receive on the Shabbat. Most of us are probably not there. Most of us do block the blessings of today by worries of tomorrow. But what we ask on the Shabbat is to come to the secret of Hayom, to come to the secret of this day. Because we know that when we are able to come to the secret of this day, then we are able to draw and receive without tzah, without pain, without yegiyah, without difficult work, the complete flow and blessings of the light of the Creator. That's the first gift, the first level of consciousness, the prerequisite in life, prerequisite of the Shabbat. The second